right, man. Let's talk about how Cade Cunningham stacks up with the number one pick from the last 13 years, his contemporaries, man. And like I said before, this is something that came to me while I was doing the rumor video about Monty and Troy Weaver, and I just started to think like, do the number one pick used had an impact in which they used to have? And I'm not talking about as far as numbers because his numbers are truly terrific, to be honest, man. Once you look at his numbers, man, I mean, they stack up with any of them. But we just talking about success. When people talk about K, they point to numbers that don't matter because it's not successful. And I would say 30 games and up for them this year would have been around successful. I think the over and under I said was like 35 this year. That's successful. But once you start kind of looking at the impact of other number one picks and historically who had great overall impacts on their team, like really huge impacts, Dwight Howard, obviously LeBron James, Yao Ming, you know what I'm saying? Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, Glenn Robinson was pretty good. They did some things. Chris Webber took he ended up going to Golden State. Shaquille O'Neal, he turned that expansion franchise around instantly. I mean, so kind of once you start getting there, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon, they did their thing. James Worthy, he went to go to a really good situation. They already had a high pick. They was already a good team. I think they got a high pick via a trade. I think it was with the Clippers. They could have took Dominique Wilkins number one, but they felt Worthy was a better pick. So they already had a really good team. So when you start to kind of look at historically, and Derrick Rose had a good impact on Chicago, but once you start kind of looking at the last few guys, Victor Walla Banana, that's what I call him. He didn't have a big impact on San Antonio this year. And sometimes they look better when they play without him at some point. You know what I'm saying? But he had great numbers, but he didn't have an impact where, they turned this thing right around. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have an impact where they like Shaquille O'Neal had in Orlando. Like how they was hyping him up. Even LeBron James, in Cleveland, they had a really good turnaround. They went from a shitty team to a really, really respectable team. He didn't have that type of impact. And I'm not looking at average numbers, average and all that. I'm talking about the impact they had. Paolo Baranchnik, I mean, they doing their thing right now. But how many fucking draft picks did Orlando have? Once you look at the Orlando roster, my guy, you start looking at how many number one picks they had, or yeah, first round pick, even number freaking one picks they had. I mean, they got Markel Fultz over there. Paulo. They both the number one pick in the draft. Franz Wagner was a high pick. Jalen Suggs was a high pick. Anthony Black was a first round pick of this year. Cole Anthony was a first round pick. Wendell Carter was a first round pick. Gary Harris was a first round pick. Jet Howard this year, I think, was a first round pick. So Jesus Christ, about fucking time. Dude, on this team, they got one, two, three, four, five, six. Jonathan Isaac, I don't know if he's back. I'm not gonna count him. I think he is back, but I'm not gonna count him. Seven, eight, nine. They got 9 first round picks on this team that I count, and 2 number 1 overall picks. So at the end of the day, Paolo Podbrashnik had plenty of help over there in Orlando. I mean, in Orlando. Let's keep it real. He's a phenomenal player, but he's a huge part of them turning it around. He's one of my favorite NBA players. He's a huge part of them turning it around. Let's be real. Anthony Edwards, they made some moves. They've been fairly successful since he's been there. And he looks like to be the best player in the league, in my opinion. I don't care about the MVP race as far as charisma and everything he doing without Carl Anthony Towns. I mean, he getting docked because I think he a little bit too black. I mean, Southern black for them to make him the face of the league. And rest in peace to because he's from Atlanta area. Rest in peace to Rico Wade, man. Um, part of the organized noise that did a lot of things for a lot of production for Outkast and Future. Most of y'all young guys know him. He's Future. If you don't know, y'all know Future. That's his uncle who helped put him on. So rest in peace to him. Um, but as I was growing up, Outkast, that's my favorite duo of all time, man. Get up, get out, get something. They produced that. They produced the Goody Mob. Who's that creeping in my window? Ah, yeah. If you went to HBCU or if you ever been to HBCU game, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna hear that production. You know, But shout out to them, man. So I mean, they made some moves. Getting Patrick Beverly at one point, adding Rudy Gobert, adding a bunch of guys on that team to turn it around. He's a huge part of that success there too. But like I said before, number one picks not turning franchises around like they used to. Zion, they got a lot of talent down there in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? I think and I'm gonna be real. Let's keep. I'm gonna say something after I continue this. We know about Aiden. He didn't do nothing. Foles got hurt. Carl Anthony really didn't turn it around. Andrew Wiggins didn't really turn it around in when he went to Minnesota because he got traded. That's when Brian came back. Anthony Bennett, we know his story. Anthony Davis really didn't turn around New Orleans. Kyrie really didn't turn around Cleveland. John Wall really never turned around Washington. They was formidable. Blake Griffin, we kind of got a little bit further than 13 years. Didn't really turn around Clippers. He helped. So I think if we being honest, out of the last 13 years, just off the top of my brain with no research, I think the guy who had the most impact as far as turning a team around culture wise and winning wise, it wasn't a number one overall pick. Just me thinking off the top of the dome, it was John Morant. And it's not more evident than more than right now with John Morant. Without John Morant, the Grizzlies are one of the worst teams in the league and gonna get a high draft pick this year. I think John Morant in the last 13 years, and I could be wrong, has had more impact. Maybe not named Nikola Jokic. He was a second round pick, but just he's turned the culture around in Memphis. He's turned the culture around in Memphis. You know, but the number one picks, they're not having the impact that they used to, that a Patrick Ewing or a Dwight Howard used to have. Had in Orlando, obviously LeBron James go without saying. Akeem Olajuwon. You know what I'm saying, or even going outside that number one pick, talking about a guy like Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So the number one picks are not having, it's not hitting like it used to hit. No Diddy. It's not really, they're not really having a monumental impact. I think Cade Cunningham is pretty much on par with a lot of these number one picks, especially numbers wise. You said, well, where's the holdup at? He need help. They need to do it. I would say, man, the help he need is, I think they got talent that can be formidable. I feel like the help he need help as far as he need help as far as he need help as far as I feel like he need help as far as the organization. It's too toxic between the front office, the senior advisor, and the front coaching staff. They need to tear all that down, and maybe they can salvage this roster. I think, man, you just tear it all down, get rid of everybody, get somebody in here like Jerry West that can help him build a respectable franchise and start over. But I think they can salvage these guys with the right coach, with the right front office, with the right, advisorship for Tom Gores. I think it's a way that they can salvage this thing. Just my opinion, but I think he's stacking up pretty well with the rest of the number one pitch as far as impact on franchises and winning. These guys are younger and younger. The game's played a different way, and if you notice, most of the guys that I talk about, that I talk about having an impact and all that stuff, is that a lot of these guys were centers. Hakeem, Dwight, Shaq. Most of these guys were centers, bro. And the reason they had so much of an impact, the reason they had so much of an impact was because they played the game a lot different. They played the game outside in. They played the game outside in. Now they playing it outside in. I mean inside out. They play. Now they playing outside in. When you play through a center, he could play with his back to the ball. I mean his back to the basket. It's different. It's different. It's different because now he gonna get to the foul line. Okay, he gonna get to the foul line. He gonna command a double team. That way, you basically playing 4 on 5 on defense. And right now, right now they not playing with their back to the basket no more. They playing outside in. So if I'm playing from the 3 point line in, you're not gonna have an impact. Who you making better? The centers was able to, control the floor of the game, block shots, get rebounds. Now you getting power forwards and centers, they can't even give you 10 rebounds a game. It's multiple guys on this list that we talk about who don't average 10 rebounds a game. The big fellas don't play big no more. They play like guards, so they don't have an impact. Paulo Brancho, he don't average 10 rebounds a game. This dude should be a double double. He get you just under 7 rebounds a game. Just check about how soft these big fellas then got, bro. Playing like guards. If somebody bred a big fella to play like a big fella, it'll be over with, bro. You drop a Keem in this era, it'll be over with. You go to Zion Williamson. He lucky if he gets 6 rebounds a game. Let's see if we can jump to a statistics real quick. I want to show y'all something. Man, I don't know where statistic at. I'm tripping. He got so much in his portfolio. So yeah, this year, he's averaged 7. This year he averaged 7 rebounds a year, 7 rebounds a game. It's criminal for him to be that athletic, that big and strong, and he only averaged 7 rebounds a game. That's criminal. He should be getting 10, 11, 12 like Barkley. You look at this guy, he getting you 10. So shout out to DeAndre, and he getting you 10. His numbers not bad at all. Just don't have no impact. Then you go to Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony might be greeting around 10. Yeah, he right around 10. This year he kind of the last 2 years got away from that center position. But he around 10. Most of these guys don't get you 10, bro. In this era, the way they shoot it, really the baseline should be 15. But I appreciate y'all, man. Check out the Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance. Get notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially, want to support the channel. Cash App $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.